Between is a show that takes place in a small town. In this small town, there's a random disease outbreak. Nobody knows what the cause of it is. Because of this disease, the town is put in quarantine, and all of the remaining survivors are left trying to figure out where this disease came from, why it came to be, and also why nobody under the age of 22 has been affected.
To me, in creating this world, it seemed inherently dramatic because the stakes are high. First of all, you've sort of been through this apocalypse of seeing everyone older die, and then yet you still have this sort of newfound freedom of there are no rules in society, which I think is appealing to everyone. It's a high concept enough idea, like what happens if you quarantine a town, and then say, unlike other shows where you have zombies or the military, the real force is each other.
Between is this world of children who are being forced to become the adults when they don't necessarily have the skills or the experience to do such, because they live in a world where their families and their mentors, their authority figures have all been killed, wiped out, removed, and they're left within the quarantine zone and have to figure life out on their own.
All at the same time having to wonder why isn't the outside world helping them.
Yeah.
It puts people in a situation that aren't equipped to handle it. So you have these people that are 21 and under, and they're not, they have a lot of skills to do it, but they're not, all the societal systems are not in place. Like who's the police, who's the medical, who provides food, who does what.
The world that we live in now, things like Ebola and unknown viruses and stuff are not really, it's not that uncommon that this type of thing could potentially happen. So there's a lot of reality to it that makes it very easy to come to as an actor, because I feel like it lives in reality. I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility that something like that could happen.
Disease is not a new thing. We may have a new outbreak. There's new fears and things that come out every year, but disease has been around as long as we have.
I'm a huge fan of survivalist type shows. Lost is one of my favorite series ever. I love any show that has an ensemble dynamic where you get to know the background of a bunch of different characters, and you don't get too sick of anyone because you're personally invested in a lot of them.
The show's different than other shows that are sci-fi based, or this quarantine virus thing, because that's popular theme. But you see that it's different because it's kids surviving on their own.
In Pretty Lake, you have two sides. You have the hockey team, the more affluent side, and then you got the people, the other side of the tracks, if you will, called the Creekers. And both of them kind of represent an extreme.
And then there's Switzerland in some ways, and Gord, who tries to navigate between those two worlds.
I think the cool thing about each of the characters is that they don't necessarily fit into their group. They're just there by necessity.
In essence, everyone kind of has to grow up a lot faster.
Everything that they've ever planned for their lives, everything that they ever looked forward to, every dream they ever had is literally stripped away, and they're left to fend for themselves and figure out how to get on with their life.
No one is safe, and no one is safe in this world because these people aren't equipped to handle themselves in this society. Here's a generation that's raised on social networks, and those are gone, and what's left again is each other.
We live in an age where things are so technologically advanced, and we rely so much on our gadgets that I think it is very refreshing for people to watch other human beings put in a situation where so much of that is taken away from them.
They quickly lose their innocence, and that was the thing that actually drew me to the project right away. I'm a parent, you're a parent, and we're at that stage where we're no longer imagining what would we do in our situation, but what would our kids do in that situation.